Baby Bookworm Book 1, The Goblin Protocol. Chapter 1, 2 Days Until Birthday. Baby Bookworm sat cross-legged on the floor of his mother's office, surrounded by a fortress of technical manuals he'd pulled from the lower shelves. His large, dark eyes scanned the pages of Advanced Propulsion Systems Vol. Before, with the kind of focus most toddlers reserved for shiny objects. "Mama," he said, not looking up, "why rocket use old fuel? This book say new plasma better." Jackie Hinson didn't even glance away from her terminal. She'd learned months ago that her son's questions were genuine, terrifying, and often correct. "Because the new plasma system hasn't passed safety certification yet, sweetheart, we can't just install experimental engines on troop transports." "But." "No buts. Finish your juice box." Baby Bookworm frowned at the juice box sitting abandoned next to him. He'd forgotten about it entirely. The book was far more interesting. He turned another page, his small fingers surprisingly dexterous, then froze. Something was wrong. His diaper felt restrictive, confining. The temperature-controlled office was a pleasant 72 degrees, but the diaper's synthetic lining pressed against his skin in a way that suddenly seemed intolerable. He stood up, toddled over to his mother's desk, and tugged on her pant leg. "Mama, Jackie's eyes remained locked on a schematic of the new hangar bay cooling system. "Diaper too tight, need off." That got her attention. Jackie's head snapped down so fast Baby Bookworm heard her neck crack. "Absolutely not. We've talked about this." "But Mama..." "No." Jackie pointed at him with the stylus she'd been using. "You are wearing that diaper until Nurse Debbie gets here. End of discussion." Baby Bookworm considered this. His mother's tone indicated a firm boundary, but the diaper situation was becoming critical. He employed his most devastating weapon: logic. "Diaper not breathable. Skin need air circulation. Book say." "I don't care what the book says about ventilation systems. You are not taking off your diaper in my office." Jackie rubbed her temples. "Where did you even learn the word breathable?" "Medical textbook. In bathroom." "Why were you reading medical textbooks in the bathroom?" Baby Bookworm shrugged. "Nothing else to read." Before Jackie could respond, her desk comm chirped. She held up one finger to Baby Bookworm, the universal signal for wait, and tapped the screen. "Chief Hinson." Lieutenant Morrison's face appeared, looking harried. "Ma'am, we have a situation in Engineering Bay 3. The thermal regulators are showing fluctuations, and Johnson swears she saw something small and fast run past the coolant tanks." Jackie closed her eyes. "Small and fast?" "Yes, ma'am." "How small?" "About toddler-sized, ma'am." Jackie's eyes shot open. She looked down at Baby Bookworm, who was still standing next to her desk, looking up at her with innocent, enormous eyes. "Morrison, I'm looking at my son right now. He's in my office." There was a pause. "Are you sure, ma'am?" "Am I? Yes, I'm sure. I think I know where my own child is." "Of course, ma'am. My apologies. We'll investigate further." Morrison cut the connection. Jackie stared at Baby Bookworm. Baby Bookworm stared back. "You weren't in Engineering Bay 3 this morning, were you?" "No, Mama." "You're sure?" "Was in Engineering Bay 2. Different bay." "What?" The office door slid open before Jackie could launch into full interrogation mode. Nurse Debbie swept in like a particularly severe weather system, her crisp white uniform somehow still immaculate despite it being 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. She took one look at Baby Bookworm and her eyes narrowed. "Is that diaper still on?" she demanded. This Baby Bookworm took an immediate step backward. Then another. His small hands came up in what could only be described as a defensive combat stance. "Darkness, Debbie," he whispered, his voice filled with the kind of awe usually reserved for natural disasters. "Don't you darkness Debbie me, young man. Come here." "Diaper too tight," Baby Bookworm said, edging toward the door. "Need tactical flexibility." Nurse Debbie's expression didn't change. "You need your diaper on. You're 2 years old." "Almost 2. Baby Bookworm corrected. 2 more days, then big boy." "2 more days until you're 2 years old, not 20. Nurse Debbie said, advancing, "which means you still need your diaper. Now come here so I can check if it needs changing." Baby Bookworm calculated his odds. The office had 2 exits, the main door behind Nurse Debbie and the emergency access panel behind his mother's desk. The panel required a 7-digit security code, which he knew, but he'd need approximately 4.3 seconds to input it. Nurse Debbie could cross the room in 3.1 seconds when motivated. The math was not in his favor. He employed strategy number 7, distraction through cuteness. "Debbie pretty today," he said, his voice suddenly sweet. "Hair shiny." Nurse Debbie was unmoved. "Flattery will not save you from a diaper check. Chief Hinson, if you could hold him—" "Oh no," Jackie said, hands up. "I have a meeting with Admiral Kensington in 10 minutes about the failed coolant system in Bay 3, which my son may or may not have sabotaged." "Was not sabotage," Baby Bookworm protested. "Was enhancement. And I cannot show up smelling like diaper cream. He's all yours, Debbie." Nurse Debbie nodded once, accepting this mission. She turned her full attention to Baby Bookworm, who had somehow migrated to the other side of the office. "Last chance to come here voluntarily," Nurse Debbie said. Baby Bookworm weighed his options. Then he made a break for it. He was fast, faster than most 2-year-olds had any right to be. He ducked under Nurse Debbie's reaching hands, pivoted around his mother's desk with the grace of a much older child, and made it 3 full steps toward the door before Nurse Debbie's hand closed around the back of his shirt. "Gotcha!" "No!" Baby Bookworm wailed, his legs still churning in midair. "Diaper uncomfortable is torture. It is not torture, it's hygiene." Nurse Debbie set him on the visitor's chair and began her inspection with professional efficiency. "And yes, you need a change. When was the last time someone checked you?" Jackie looked up from her terminal. "Didn't you change him at 9? That was 2 hours ago, Chief. Toddlers need frequent changes." "I've been busy. The whole base is falling apart and Morrison thinks there's a goblin in the engineering bay." "They're no goblin." "Yeah," Baby Bookworm said, squirming as Nurse Debbie produced a fresh diaper from her seemingly bottomless bag. "That mean goblin not real." Both women looked at him. "Sweetie," Jackie said carefully, "people keep reporting a small creature running through the service corridors. They're calling it a goblin because they can't quite see what it is in the dark." Baby Bookworm's face took on an expression of sudden understanding. "Oh." "Oh," Nurse Debbie repeated, pausing mid-diaper change. "What oh?" "Nothing. Just oh." Jackie's desk comm chirped again. She glanced at it and groaned. "It's Kensington. I have to go." She grabbed her data pad and headed for the door, pausing to point at Baby Bookworm. "You stay with Nurse Debbie. No running, no enhancement projects, no removing your diaper." "But Mama—" "No." The door slid shut behind her. Baby Bookworm looked up at Nurse Debbie, who was fastening the new diaper with decisive strips of adhesive. "Darkness, Debbie? What?" "Just, you ever see goblin?" Nurse Debbie's hands stilled. She looked down at him, her expression unreadable. "Why do you ask?" "Just wonder. People talk about goblin lots. Say goblin steal sandwich. Say goblin invents. Say goblin very fast and sneaky." Nurse Debbie finished the diaper and pulled his pants back up. "And you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?" Baby Bookworm's eyes went wide and innocent. "Me just baby. How me know about goblin?" "Uh-huh." Nurse Debbie picked him up and settled him on her hip. "Well, this baby is going to spend the afternoon in the recreation center with the other children where I can keep an eye on him." "But books. You've read enough books this morning. You need social interaction with children your own age." "They babies," Baby Bookworm protested. "Me almost 2. That basically adult." 2 is not an adult, is closer to adult than 1. That's not how. Never mind. Nurse Debbie headed for the door. "We're going to play with blocks and maybe finger paint." "Finger paint inefficient. Have better idea. Could program. No programming. No engineering. No enhancements. Just play." Baby Bookworm's sigh of a misunderstood genius. As Nurse Debbie carried him out of his mother's office and down the corridor toward the recreation center, he caught sight of his reflection in a window. 2 more days until his birthday. 2 more days until he turned 2 years old. He had plans, big plans. But first, he needed to figure out how to escape the recreation center and maybe steal a sandwich on the way. Chapter 2. The Recreation Center Incident. The recreation center smelled like disinfectant and graham crackers. Baby Bookworm surveyed the space from his position on Nurse Debbie's hip, cataloging exits and potential opportunities. 2 doors, main entrance and emergency exit, alarmed. 3 windows, 2 high, reinforced glass, 17 other children, various ages, mostly human, none of them currently doing anything interesting. 1 supervising adult, besides Nurse Debbie, Miss Caroline, who was reading a picture book to a group of toddlers in the corner and definitely not paying attention to the ventilation grate near the block area. Down, please, Baby Bookworm said politely. Nurse Debbie set him down, but kept her hand on his shoulder. I'm watching you. Me no. I mean it. No wandering off, no climbing, no experiments. Just want play with blocks like normal, baby. Nurse Debbie's eyes narrowed. In her 3 months as Baby Bookworm's nanny, she'd learned that the phrase like normal baby was usually a red flag. But she couldn't exactly forbid him from playing with blocks. Fine. Blocks. I'll be right over there. She pointed to a chair near the door that had a clear sight line to the entire room. I can see you from there. Okay, Debbie. She hesitated one more moment, then walked to her designated surveillance position. Baby Bookworm waited until she was seated before toddling over to the block area. A human girl, maybe 3 years old, was building a tower. She looked up as Baby Bookworm approached. Hi, she said. Hi, Baby Bookworm replied, sitting down across from her. He picked up a red block and examined it. You make tower? Yeah, it's going to be really tall. She placed another block on top, wobbling slightly. Baby Bookworm observed the structure with a critical eye. Tower structurally unsound, base too narrow, will fall at 7 blocks. The girl stared at him. What? Need wider base, like this. He grabbed several blocks and began arranging them in a stable foundation pattern. See? Now can go much higher. Maybe 12 blocks. Oh, the girl watched him work. You're smart. Thank you. Me? He caught himself. Mama said not to tell other kids he could read engineering manuals. Something about concerning the parents. Me just like blocks. They built in silence for a moment. Baby Bookworm was actually starting to enjoy himself when a shadow fell across their construction project. A boy, maybe 4, loomed over them. He was big for his age and had the look of someone used to getting his way. Those are my blocks, the boy announced. Baby Bookworm looked up. Blocks for everyone. Say so on box. I was using them first. You not using now, you over there. Baby Bookworm pointed to the other side of the room where the boy had apparently abandoned a half-built structure. The boy's face turned red. Give them back. No, thank you, Baby Bookworm said, returning his attention to the tower. He added another block, bringing the structure to an impressive 10 blocks high. What happened next occurred very quickly. The boy lunged forward and kicked the tower. Blocks scattered everywhere. The little girl gasped. Baby Bookworm sat very still, processing. There, the boy said, satisfied. Now nobody has them. Baby Bookworm stood up. The boy was nearly twice his height, but Baby Bookworm had learned that size wasn't everything. Intelligence mattered. Strategy mattered. Also, he was really annoyed about the tower. That mean, Baby Bookworm said, his voice calm. We work hard. So, you're just a baby. Babies can't build good. Me not just baby. Me almost 2. The boy laughed. 2 is still a baby, dummy. Baby Bookworm considered his options. Fighting was not allowed. Miss Caroline had been very clear about that during orientation. But there were other ways to handle conflicts. You right, Baby Bookworm said, sitting back down. Me just baby. Probably you very smart. What you building over there? The boy blinked, thrown by the sudden capitulation. I was making a spaceship. Spaceship? Very cool. Can me see? Yeah, okay. The boy walked back toward his construction, glancing over his shoulder to make sure Baby Bookworm was following. Baby Bookworm toddled after him, his expression innocent. When they reached the boy's structure, he examined it with apparent interest. It was, objectively, a terrible spaceship. The proportions were all wrong. There was no consideration for thrust-to-weight ratio, and the wing placement would create unstable flight dynamics. Very nice, Baby Bookworm lied. Must take long time. Yeah, I worked really hard on it. The boy's aggression was already fading, replaced by pride in his creation. Me help make it better? Sure, I guess. Baby Bookworm picked up a block and pretended to study the spaceship, looking for the perfect placement. Then, as if by accident, he bumped the central support column. The entire structure collapsed. Oops, Baby Bookworm said. Sorry, me just baby. Very clumsy. The boy's mouth fell open in horror. You did that on purpose. No, accident. Me trying to help, very sorry. Baby Bookworm's voice was perfectly sincere, his large eyes even wider than usual. Me just baby, remember? Baby's clumsy. Miss Caroline? The supervising adult looked up from her picture book. What's wrong, Brandon? He knocked over my spaceship. Miss Caroline walked over, taking in the scene. The collapsed blocks, Brandon's outraged face, and Baby Bookworm's innocent expression. I'm sure it was an accident, Miss Caroline said. Wasn't it, sweetie? Baby Bookworm nodded earnestly. Me trying to help. Very sorry. See, he didn't mean it, Brandon. Why don't you build something together? I don't want to build with him. He's weird. Brandon, that's not kind. And people say he's the goblin. The room went quiet. Every child stopped what they were doing. Even the toddlers in the corner looked up from their picture book. Miss Caroline's expression shifted from patient to concerned. Brandon, we don't spread rumors. It's not a rumor. My dad works in engineering, and he said there's something stealing food and running through the corridors, and Johnson said she saw it, and it was small and fast and had big eyes. Brandon pointed at Baby Bookworm. Like him. Baby Bookworm felt every eye in the room turn toward him. This was not ideal. Mama had specifically said to keep a low profile, which he understood to mean don't let people connect you to the sandwich incidents. Me not goblin, he said with dignity. Goblin not real. Then why does everyone keep seeing something in the corridors? Maybe they seeing, Baby Bookworm scrambled for an explanation. Shadow or robot? Base have lots robots. Robots don't steal sandwiches. Maybe hungry robot. That doesn't even make sense. Nurse Debbie appeared like a dark angel of judgment. What's going on here? Brandon took one look at her and backed up 2 steps. Everyone knew Nurse Debbie. She had a reputation. Nothing, Nurse Debbie, he mumbled. Didn't sound like nothing. She looked at Baby Bookworm. Are you causing problems? No, Debbie. Just playing with blocks. Then accident happened. He gestured at the collapsed spaceship with perfectly performed remorse. Nurse Debbie's eyes narrowed, but she couldn't actually prove anything. Maybe it's time for a snack. Everyone, wash your hands. The children scattered toward the bathroom. Baby Bookworm started to follow, but Nurse Debbie's hand on his shoulder stopped him. I know what you did, she said quietly. What me did. That boy's spaceship didn't fall over by accident. Me just baby. Very clumsy. Uh-huh. Nurse Debbie steered him toward the bathroom. And I suppose you're not the goblin everyone keeps talking about either. Baby Bookworm looked up at her with his most innocent expression. Goblin, not real, Debbie. You say so yourself. Say not to believe in monsters. I said not to be scared of monsters. I never said they don't exist. She waited while he washed his hands in the small sink, especially monsters that steal sandwiches and enhance coolant systems without authorization. That not monster, that just helpful person. Helpful. Very helpful. Engineering Bay 2 coolant now 15% more efficient. And who told you the efficiency rating? Baby Bookworm realized his mistake too late. Lucky guess? Nurse Debbie sighed and handed him a paper towel. After snack time, we're going straight home. Your mother needs to have a serious talk with you about boundaries. But Mama busy. Have important meeting. Then she'll have to be unbusy. This goblin situation is getting out of hand. Me not. Hush. Nurse Debbie led him back to the main room, where Miss Caroline was distributing apple slices and graham crackers. Sit here and eat your snack. No wandering, no engineering, no being a goblin. Baby Bookworm sat down at the small table and accepted his snack with a sigh. Being almost 2 was hard. Everyone had so many rules. No taking off diapers, no enhancing base systems, no stealing sandwiches, no being a goblin. How was anyone supposed to live like this? He bit into an apple slice and contemplated his situation. The goblin rumors were becoming a problem. He needed to either stop his corridor activities or find a better disguise, maybe both. Also, he really needed to work on his innocent face. Nurse Debbie was getting too good at seeing through it. A graham cracker landed on his plate. He looked up to find the little girl from the block tower standing next to him. You can have mine, she whispered. I liked our tower. Brandon's mean. Baby Bookworm smiled. Thank you. Want to hear about structural engineering? Okay. Nurse Debbie's voice cut through the room like a knife. No engineering talk during snack time. Baby Bookworm slumped in his chair. Yes, Debbie. The little girl giggled and went back to her seat. From her position near the door, Nurse Debbie watched Baby Bookworm eat his snack with apparently innocent focus. But she'd been doing this job long enough to recognize scheming when she saw it. That child was planning something. She just needed to figure out what before it became a base-wide incident. Again. Chapter 3, The Sandwich Protocol. Chief Jackie Hinson's meeting with Admiral Kensington had not gone well. 15% more efficient, the Admiral repeated, staring at the datapad in his hand. The coolant system in Engineering Bay 2 is now 15% more efficient than the identical system in Bay 1, and nobody knows how this happened. I'm sure there's a logical explanation, Jackie began. Morrison found a training manual on thermal dynamics wedged behind the coolant tank. A training manual with sticky fingerprints on it. Small fingerprints. Jackie maintained her composure. Sir, with all due respect, lots of personnel have children on base. Those fingerprints could belong to anyone. The fingerprints were accompanied by what Johnson describes as tiny handprints on the access panel and a half-eaten juice box in the maintenance corridor. Ah. Chief Hinson. Admiral Kensington set down the datapad and leaned back in his chair. Is your son the goblin? My son is not a goblin, sir. He's a 2-year-old child. A 2-year-old child who apparently understands advanced thermal engineering. He's very bright. He's a security risk. Jackie felt her spine stiffen. Sir, my son has never compromised any classified. He modified a military coolant system without authorization. What if he'd made it 15% less efficient? What if he'd caused a cascade failure? What if... The Admiral stopped himself, rubbing his temples. I'm not trying to be unreasonable, Jackie, but we've had 17 separate reports in the last 2 weeks of something small and fast in restricted areas. Food is disappearing from the mess hall. Engineering equipment is being rearranged, and now we have proof that someone very short, with access to your security codes, has been enhancing our base systems. I'll talk to him. You'll do more than talk to him. I want him confined to family quarters in the approved recreational areas until further notice. No unsupervised access to any engineering spaces. Admiral, he's a toddler. You can't restrict a toddler like he's a security threat. Can't I? Admiral Kensington's expression softened slightly. Look, I know this is difficult, but the rumors are getting out of control. Half the base thinks we have a goblin infestation. The other half thinks we have a very intelligent rat. Nobody except a handful of people who've actually seen him knows it's your son, and I'd like to keep it that way, for his safety and yours. Jackie knew he was right, but that didn't make it easier to hear. Understood, sir. I'll implement immediate restrictions. Good. And Jackie, make sure he knows this is serious. The next time he decides to enhance something, it might not end well. Baby Bookworm was still thinking about structural engineering when Nurse Debbie's comm device buzzed. She glanced at the screen, read the message, and her expression went carefully neutral. Time to go, she announced, holding out her hand. But snack not done. Now. Baby Bookworm recognized that tone. It was the tone that meant arguing would be pointless and possibly dangerous. He abandoned his graham crackers and took Nurse Debbie's hand. They walked through the corridors of the base in silence. Baby Bookworm noticed they were taking the main corridors instead of the shortcuts he usually preferred. Also, Nurse Debbie was walking faster than normal, her grip on his hand firmer than necessary. Debbie, something wrong? We're going home, but Mama's still working. Your mother will meet us there. That was concerning. Mama never left work early unless something was wrong. Baby Bookworm's mind raced through possibilities. Had someone been hurt? Was there a base emergency? Had they finally traced the missing sandwiches back to him? They passed through Section C, where the mess hall was located. Baby Bookworm's stomach rumbled despite his recent snack. The mess hall always smelled amazing, especially on Tuesdays when they made grilled cheese sandwiches. Debbie, me hungry. You just had a snack, but growing baby need nutrition. Doctor say so. Nice try, you're not getting a sandwich. How you know me want sandwich? Nurse Debbie stopped walking and looked down at him with an expression of profound skepticism. Because you always want a sandwich, every single day, multiple times per day. I've started tracking it. You've found 14 sandwiches in the last week alone. That seemed like a lot, Baby Bookworm said carefully. Maybe you counting wrong. I am not counting wrong. Yesterday, Lieutenant Chen filed a formal complaint about the missing turkey club from his office. The day before, Dr. Morrison lost an entire pastrami on rye. And last Thursday, Nurse Debbie took a deep breath, clearly trying to maintain her composure. Last Thursday, someone took a sandwich directly off General Bradley's lunch tray while he was turned around talking to Colonel Winters. That very brave person, Baby Bookworm said solemnly. General Bradley's scary. It was you. Me not say that. You didn't have to. I found the pickle under your bed. Does baby bookworm filed that information away. Note: dispose of evidence more carefully. Maybe pickle just appear. Magic pickle. There is no such thing as magic pickles. Nurse Debbie resumed walking, tugging him along, and we are going to have a very serious conversation about stealing when we get home. Not stealing is tactical food redistribution. It's stealing. They turned a corner and nearly collided with a group of junior engineers coming out of the mess hall. One of them, a young woman baby bookworm recognized as Ensign Parker, was holding a paper bag from the deli counter. "Oh, excuse us, Nurse Debbie," Parker said, stepping aside. Then she noticed baby bookworm and her eyes went wide. Is he? "Yes, this is Chief Hinson's son," Nurse Debbie said firmly. "And no, he is not a goblin. I didn't say you were thinking it. Everyone's thinking it." Nurse Debbie's tone could have cut steel. "He's a child, a very intelligent, occasionally mischievous child, but a child nonetheless. Now if you'll excuse us." They swept past the engineers, but baby bookworm heard their whispered conversation behind them. "That's the chief's kid?" "Must be. I heard he can read technical manuals. I heard he enhanced the Bay 2 coolant system. I heard he's actually 3 years old, but just really small. Janet swears she saw him in the ventilation shaft last Tuesday." Their voices faded as Nurse Debbie increased her pace. Baby bookworm had to jog to keep up with her longer strides. "Debbie, why people talk about me?" Nurse Debbie was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was gentler. "Because you're different, honey, and people talk about things they don't understand. Me not that different. You're a 2-year-old who reads engineering manuals and modifies base systems. That's pretty different. But me just want help, make things better. I know, but better is subjective, and unauthorized modifications are against regulations, even when they work." She squeezed his hand. "Your intentions are good. Your methods need improvement." They reached the family quarters, and Nurse Debbie keyed in the security code. The door slid open to reveal their modest but comfortable living space. Baby bookworm's books were stacked in neat piles around the room. Nurse Debbie had given up trying to keep them on shelves, and his toy box sat ignored in the corner. "Sit," Nurse Debbie commanded, pointing to the couch. Baby bookworm climbed onto the couch and sat with his hands folded in his lap, the picture of compliance. Nurse Debbie paced in front of him, organizing her thoughts. "Here's what's going to happen," she said. "Your mother is coming home early, which never happens. That means something serious is going on. When she gets here, you are going to tell her the truth about the sandwiches, the engineering bay, and anything else you've been doing that might qualify as goblin-like behavior. Do you understand? But no buts. You're in trouble. Real trouble. The kind that doesn't go away when you use your cute face or your smart words." She crouched down to his eye level. "I know you're clever. I know you mean well. But you can't keep doing whatever you want, just because you can. Rules exist for reasons." Baby bookworm considered this. Rules had always seemed like suggestions to him, guidelines that didn't necessarily apply to someone with his level of understanding. But looking at Nurse Debbie's serious expression, he was beginning to realize that maybe adults saw things differently. "Me in big trouble?" "Yes." "More trouble than Bay 2? Much more. More trouble than General Bradley's sandwich?" "I cannot believe you're admitting to that." "Me not admit, just asking hypothetical question." Nurse Debbie stood up and crossed her arms. "Hypothetically, yes, more trouble than the sandwich, because this isn't about one incident. It's about a pattern of behavior that has the entire base on edge." The door chimed. Nurse Debbie went to answer it, and Jackie Hinson entered looking tired and stressed. She took one look at baby bookworm on the couch, and her expression softened slightly before hardening again into parental sternness. "We need to talk," Jackie said. Baby bookworm's ears drooped. That phrase was never followed by anything good. "Me in trouble," he said quietly. "Yes, you are." Jackie set down her datapad and sat on the couch next to him. "Big trouble. Admiral Kensington knows about Bay 2. But me make it better. That's not the point. You can't just modify base systems without authorization. You're 2 years old. Almost 2. That doesn't help your case." Jackie took a deep breath, clearly trying to calm herself. "Baby, I know you're smart. I know you want to help. but you have to understand that there are procedures and protocols for a reason. You can't just do whatever you think is best. Why not, if me no better way, because that's not how society works. Jackie pinched the bridge of her nose. You're going to be restricted to family quarters and approved recreational areas until further notice. No engineering bays, no maintenance corridors, no ventilation shafts. Baby Bookworm's eyes went wide. But Mama, that's so boring. Then you should have thought about that before you became the base goblin. Me not goblin. Then stop acting like one. Jackie's voice rose to match his. They stared at each other for a moment before Jackie continued in a calmer tone. Look, I get it. You're bored. The recreational activities aren't challenging enough. But you can't run around stealing sandwiches and modifying systems. It has to stop. What about birthday? Baby Bookworm asked, his voice small. 2 days, me turn 2. Still have restriction? Jackie's expression cracked slightly. We'll talk about your birthday later. Right now, we need to discuss consequences. Baby Bookworm felt something unfamiliar and uncomfortable in his chest. He'd been excited about his birthday for weeks. Mama had promised a cake. Kylie had promised a surprise. Daddy might even come home from the capital. Now everything was ruined because people didn't understand the importance of improved coolant efficiency and strategic sandwich acquisition. Me sorry, he whispered. Jackie pulled him into a hug. I know, baby. I know, but sorry isn't enough this time. You have to actually change your behavior. From her position near the door, Nurse Debbie watched the scene with mixed emotions. She knew Baby Bookworm meant well. She also knew that meaning well had never stopped anyone from causing absolute chaos. This child was going to be a handful, especially in 2 days when he turned 2 and inevitably convinced himself he was basically an adult. Chapter 4. Kylie Intervenes. Kylie Hinson arrived home from school to find her mother stress-eating ice cream directly from the container, while Baby Bookworm sat on the couch looking miserable. Nurse Debbie was in the kitchen making tea with the focused intensity of someone trying not to say, I told you so. Uh-oh, Kylie said, dropping her backpack by the door. What happened? Your brother is the goblin, Jackie said around a spoonful of Rocky Road. Kylie looked at Baby Bookworm. Baby Bookworm looked back at her with sad, enormous eyes. Yeah, obviously, Kylie said. I've known that for like 3 weeks. Jackie's spoon stopped halfway to her mouth. You knew? Mom, come on. Who else would be stealing sandwiches and fixing engineering systems? It's not exactly subtle. Why didn't you tell me? Kylie shrugged and sat down next to her brother, who immediately leaned against her. Because he wasn't hurting anyone, and honestly, the Bay 2 coolant thing was pretty impressive. Johnson said it's running better than new. That's not the point. I know it's not the point. I'm just saying. Kylie put an arm around Baby Bookworm. So what's the damage? Grounded? Restricted to family quarters and approved recreational areas, Jackie said. Admiral's orders. Ouch. For how long? Indefinitely. Baby Bookworm made a small, sad noise. Kylie felt him press closer against her side. Even for his birthday? So, she asked quietly. Jackie set down the ice cream container. I don't know yet. We'll see how the next 2 days go. That's not fair, Mom. He's turning 2. You can't punish him on his birthday. I can if he doesn't learn to follow rules. He's a toddler. Toddlers don't follow rules. That's like their whole thing. Normal toddlers don't modify military equipment. We don't have a normal toddler. Kylie's voice rose to match her mother's. We have a genius alien toddler who gets bored out of his mind in normal toddler activities. What do you expect him to do? Play with blocks? He played with blocks today, Nurse Debbie interjected from the kitchen. Then he weaponized them against another child. Weaponized? Jackie turned to Baby Bookworm. What does she mean, weaponized? Baby Bookworm mumbled something into Kylie's shoulder. What was that? He destroyed my spaceship, Baby Bookworm said, his voice muffled. So me destroyed his. Fair is fair. That's not. Jackie stopped herself and took a deep breath. Okay, let's everyone just calm down. Kylie stood up, pulling Baby Bookworm with her. Come on, buddy. Let's go to your room while Mom finishes her stress ice cream. Me not want go to room. Room boring. I'll make it unboring. I'm good at that. They retreated to Baby Bookworm's small bedroom, which was less a bedroom and more a library that happened to have a bed in it. Kylie closed the door and sat on the floor, patting the spot next to her. Baby Bookworm sat down heavily, his shoulders slumped. Me mess up, he said. Yeah, you did. Kylie didn't believe in sugarcoating things for him. He was smart enough to know when he was being patronized. But not as bad as you think. Admiral mad, Mama mad, everyone think me goblin. The goblin thing is actually kind of funny, though. Like, objectively. Baby Bookworm's mouth twitched slightly. Not quite a smile, but close. People scared of goblin, he said. But goblin just me, just baby. Almost too baby, Kylie corrected. And yeah, that's the whole problem. You're doing stuff that scares grown-ups because they don't expect it from someone your age. It makes them nervous. Why? Me not dangerous. You modified a military coolant system. Made it better. I know, but better isn't the point. The point is, you did something you weren't authorized to do. In the military, that's a big deal. Doesn't matter if it worked out or not. Baby Bookworm pulled his knees up to his chest. Rules stupid. Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes rules keep people safe. And sometimes... Kylie paused, choosing her words carefully. Sometimes rules are there because the people in charge need to feel like they're in charge. Does that make sense? No. Okay, think about it like this. When you fix something without asking, even if you do it perfectly, it makes the engineers feel bad. Like you're saying they're not good enough at their jobs. Baby Bookworm's eyes widened. But me not think that. Engineers very smart. Me just want help. I know. But that's not how they see it. They see a 2-year-old doing their job better than them, and it makes them feel. She searched for the right word. Inadequate. Me not mean to make them feel bad. I know you didn't, but impact matters more than intent. Kylie leaned back against his bed. That's like a big life lesson. You'll hear it a lot. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Baby Bookworm said quietly, What about birthday? What about it? Mama, say maybe no celebration, because me in trouble. Kylie felt a surge of protective anger. She knew her mom was stressed, but punishing a 2-year-old on his birthday seemed excessive. She won't cancel your birthday. She's just upset right now. Give her a few hours to calm down. You sure? Positive. Mom's many things, but she's not cruel. You'll have your birthday party. Kylie bumped his shoulder with hers. Plus, I already got you a present. It would be a shame to waste it. Baby Bookworm perked up slightly. What is it? Nice try. You'll find out in 2 days. Give hint? Nope. Small hint? Tiny hint? Not even a microscopic hint. Baby Bookworm sighed dramatically and leaned against her again. Kylie? Yeah? Why you not mad at me? Everyone else mad. Kylie thought about that. Because I get it. Being different is hard. Being smarter than everyone expects you to be is hard. And being stuck in a baby body when your brain works like an older kid's body, that must be really, really hard. Is very hard, Baby Bookworm agreed. Me want do big things. But everyone say, no, you baby. But me not feel like baby, feel like me. I know, but here's the thing. You are a baby. I mean, you're almost 2. That's objectively baby territory. And babies need rules and boundaries. Even genius babies. Especially genius babies, actually. Why especially? Because you can get into way more trouble than a regular baby. Regular babies can't reprogram coolant systems or steal sandwiches from armed generals. General Bradley not have weapon at lunch. Not the point, Kylie laughed despite herself. The point is, you need to be more careful. Not because you're doing bad things, but because people are watching you now. And if you keep causing chaos, they're going to make Mom's life really difficult. That got through to him. Baby Bookworm's expression shifted from self-pity to concern. Mama get in trouble because of me? Not yet, but she could. Admiral Kensington is already questioning her judgment about letting you have access to the base. If you keep this up, they might transfer her. Or worse, they might make you leave the base entirely. Baby Bookworm's eyes went wide with horror. Leave? But this home, where we go? I don't know. Somewhere without engineering bays for you to enhance, probably. Somewhere boring. Me not want boring. Me not want leave. He grabbed Kylie's arm. What me do? How me fix? For starters, no more unauthorized engineering. No more sandwich theft. No more running around the corridors being a goblin. But then what me do? Just sit and be boring. No. You be smart about it, Kylie grinned. You ask permission. You show Mom and the engineers your ideas before implementing them. You make it their idea to let you help. Baby Bookworm's face scrunched up in thought. That take longer. Yeah, it does, but it's also sustainable. Right now you're burning bridges. If you slow down and bring people along with you, they'll actually let you do cool stuff. Officially. You think they let me help with engineering? For real? Maybe not now, but eventually, if you prove you can follow the rules and work within the system? Kylie shrugged. Mom's the chief engineer. She's got pull. She could probably get you some kind of supervised access when you're older, but not if you keep pissing everyone off. Me don't piss people off. Me help. You help without asking, which feels like criticism. See the difference? Baby Bookworm was quiet for a long moment, processing. Then he said, "You very smart, Kylie." "Thanks, buddy, I try." "You help me fix things? With Mama and Admiral? I'll help you navigate it, but you have to actually change your behavior. I can't do that part for you." "Okay." Baby Bookworm nodded seriously. "Me try. No more goblin." "No more unauthorized goblin," Kylie corrected. "If you want to be a goblin, you need to get it approved through proper channels." Baby Bookworm giggled, the first genuinely happy sound he'd made since Nurse Debbie picked him up from the recreation center. "How me get goblin approved? That's a project for when you're 3. There was a knock on the door. Jackie poked her head in, looking slightly less stressed than before. "Can I come in?" "It's your house, Mom," Kylie said. Jackie entered and sat on the bed, looking down at her 2 children on the floor. "I'm sorry I yelled. I was stressed and I took it out on both of you." "It's okay," Kylie said. "Is not okay," Baby Bookworm said quietly. "Me make Mama stressed. Me sorry." Jackie slid down to the floor with them, pulling Baby Bookworm into her lap. "I know you are, baby, and I know you were trying to help, but we need to establish some clear boundaries going forward." "Okay?" "Okay, Mama. No more engineering work without permission. No more taking things that don't belong to you, even if they're just sandwiches, and no more running around restricted areas." "What about birthday?" Baby Bookworm asked, his voice very small. Jackie kissed the top of his head. "Your birthday is still happening. We'll have cake and presents and everything we planned. But after your birthday, these new rules are in effect. Understand?" "Yes, Mama." "Good." Jackie looked at Kylie. "Thank you for talking to him. You're better at this than I am sometimes." "That's because I speak toddler genius. It's a specific dialect." Jackie laughed, and the tension in the room finally broke. Baby Bookworm relaxed in his mother's arms, feeling the weight of the day starting to lift. "Mama?" he said. "Yes? Me still almost 2? "Yes, baby, you're still almost 2. Just one more day." "Good, because me have big plans for being 2. Jackie and Kylie exchanged a look over his head. "We're in trouble, aren't we?" Jackie said. "Oh yeah," Kylie agreed. "So much trouble." But they were both smiling, and Baby Bookworm figured that was a good sign, at least until his birthday. Then all bets were off. Chapter 5. The day before Baby Bookworm woke up early, his internal clock precisely calibrated to 6:47 a.m. He lay in bed for exactly 90 seconds, staring at the ceiling and thinking about the fact that tomorrow he would be 2 years old. 2 was a significant number. 2 was double 1. 2 was the base of binary systems. 2 was old enough that people might start taking him seriously. Probably not, but a baby could dream. He sat up and immediately assessed his diaper situation. Still on, slightly damp but not uncomfortable enough to warrant immediate intervention. He'd allow it to remain for now. The apartment was quiet. Mama didn't start work till 8 on Wednesdays, which meant another hour of sleep for her. Kylie wouldn't be up until 7:15 when her alarm went off. Nurse Debbie didn't arrive until 7:30. Baby Bookworm had 43 minutes of unsupervised time. He should stay in bed. That would be the responsible choice. The choice that honored his promise to Mama about following rules and not being a goblin. He stayed in bed for approximately 12 seconds before the boredom became intolerable. Moving with the practiced silence of someone who'd spent considerable time avoiding detection, Baby Bookworm climbed out of bed and padded to his door. He eased it open, grateful that Mama had finally oiled the hinges after his 3rd request, and slipped into the hallway. The living room was dark and peaceful. Baby Bookworm could hear Ma's soft breathing from her bedroom and Kylie's barely audible snoring from hers. The coast was clear. He went to the kitchen and contemplated the refrigerator. There was probably a sandwich in there. Kylie usually made her lunch the night before, and Mama sometimes brought home leftovers from the mess hall, but he'd promised no more unauthorized sandwich acquisition. With genuine reluctance, Baby Bookworm closed the refrigerator without opening it. This following rules thing was harder than anticipated. He wandered to the living room window instead and climbed onto the couch to look out at the base. The sun was just starting to rise, painting the military compound in shades of orange and pink. He could see the engineering bays in the distance, their lights already on because the early shift started at 6. Bay 2 was running perfectly, thanks to his modifications. Nobody seemed to appreciate that properly. Baby Bookworm pressed his face against the window and sighed. Being good was boring. Being restricted was boring. Being almost 2 was exciting in theory, but boring in practice because he still couldn't do anything interesting. You're up early. Baby Bookworm jumped and turned to find Kylie standing in the hallway, her hair sticking up at odd angles. She was wearing her school sleep shirt, the one with the faded logo from some band he didn't recognize, and looked about 60% awake. Kylie, you not supposed to be awake. Neither are you. She shuffled over and sat on the couch next to him. Couldn't sleep? Too excited. Tomorrow birthday. I know, that's all you've talked about for weeks. She rubbed her eyes. What are you doing out here? Just looking, not causing trouble. Uh-huh. And the refrigerator? What about refrigerator? I heard you open and close it. Very suspicious behavior for someone who promised to stop stealing sandwiches. Baby Bookworm's ears drooped. Me open it, but me not take anything. Me being good. Kylie's expression softened. Hey, I'm not mad. I'm actually impressed. That's growth. Is very hard. Sandwich right there, but me follow rules. I know it's hard. Want me to make you some toast or something? Legitimate toast that you're allowed to have? Baby Bookworm perked up. With butter? And jam if you want. Yes, please. Kylie got up and headed to the kitchen. Baby Bookworm followed, climbing onto one of the chairs at the small dining table. He watched as his sister moved through the familiar routine of making breakfast, her movements slow but competent despite her obvious tiredness. Kylie, he said after a moment, yeah? You think tomorrow'll be good birthday? I think it'll be great. Mom's getting you a cake from the good bakery in town. I have your present, and Debbie said she's making something special, though she won't tell me what. What about Daddy? Kylie paused in the middle of spreading jam on toast. What about him? He coming home? I don't know, buddy. He's pretty busy on microtech. The capital stuff is complicated. But his birthday, special day. I know. Kylie brought the toast over and sat down across from him. But sometimes adults have responsibilities that keep them away, even on special days. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you. Baby Bookworm took a bite of toast and chewed thoughtfully. He didn't remember much about Daddy. The man was more a concept than a presence in his daily life. Video calls every few weeks, promises to visit soon, a deep voice that said encouraging things but never quite materialized into actual encouragement. Is okay, Baby Bookworm said finally. Have Mama and Kylie and Darkness Debbie. That enough. Darkness Debbie? Kylie grinned. You still calling her that? She very scary, like Darth Vader. She's not scary, she's just strict. There's a difference. Is scary strict? Worst kind. Kylie laughed, and Baby Bookworm felt pleased that he'd made her do that. Making Kylie laugh was one of his favorite things. They ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes. Then Kylie said, So what do you want for your birthday? Besides cake and presents, I mean. What do you actually want? Baby Bookworm considered this carefully. Me want people to not think me goblin. Want Mama to not be stressed. Want Admiral to let me help with engineering, but proper way, with permission. Want? He trailed off, unsure how to articulate the thing he wanted most. Want what? Want people to see me. Not just baby. Not just problem. Just me. Kylie reached across the table and squeezed his hand. I see you, buddy. And Mom sees you. And honestly, I think even Admiral Kensington sees you. He's just scared of what he's seeing because it doesn't fit in his neat military boxes. Boxes stupid. Agreed, but we live in a box-based society, so we have to work with what we've got. The sound of a door opening made them both turn. Jackie emerged from her bedroom, looking surprised to find them both up. What's going on? Is everything okay? Everything's fine, Mom. We're just having pre-birthday toast. Jackie checked the time on the kitchen display. It's 7 in the morning. Technically, it's 7:04. Baby Bookworm corrected around a mouthful of toast. Don't talk with your mouth full. Jackie went to the coffee maker and started brewing her morning fuel. "Why are you both up so early?" "Someone was too excited about tomorrow to sleep," Kylie said, "and I heard him wandering around, so I got up to supervise." "And?" Jackie turned to look at Baby Bookworm. "Any goblin activity to report?" "Me open refrigerator," Baby Bookworm admitted, "but me not take anything. Just look, then Kylie make legitimate toast." Jackie's expression suggested she was trying very hard not to smile. "I see. Well, I appreciate your restraint. Is very hard." "I know, baby." The coffee maker beeped and Jackie poured herself a large mug. She joined them at the table, wrapping both hands around the warm cup. "So, one more day until you're 2. "One more day!" Baby Bookworm agreed enthusiastically. "Then me officially big boy." "You're still going to be very small, though," Kylie pointed out. "Being 2 doesn't make you physically bigger, but me mentally bigger. That count." "Can't argue with that logic," Jackie said. She took a sip of coffee and seemed to come to a decision about something. "Okay, here's the deal. Today is your last day of being 1 year old. Tomorrow you turn 2, and after that the new rules are in full effect. But today—" She paused. "Today is a grace period." Baby Bookworm's eyes widened. "What mean, grace period?" "It means today I'm not going to enforce the restrictions quite as strictly. You can move around the base with Nurse Debbie, within reason. You can visit the approved areas, but," she held up a finger, "no engineering bays, no stealing, no being a goblin, just normal toddler activities. Can you do that?" "Yes, Mama, me can do that. Me be so good." "I'll believe it when I see it," Jackie said, but she was smiling. "Kylie, can you help keep an eye on him today? I know you have school, but—" "Half day today," Kylie interrupted. "Teacher in service after lunch. I can help." "Perfect, and I'll try to cut out of work early. We can do something special for dinner. Your last dinner as a 1-year-old. Baby Bookworm felt a surge of happiness so intense he thought he might explode. "Really? Really? You've been trying very hard to follow the rules, and I want to acknowledge that. Plus—" Jackie reached over and ruffled his hair. "You're only almost 2 once. Might as well make it special." There was a knock at the door. Jackie got up to answer it, revealing Nurse Debbie with her usual perfect timing. "Good morning, everyone. I see we're up early today. Baby Bookworm is excited about tomorrow," Jackie explained. "Debbie, we were just discussing today's plans. I'd like him to have a bit more freedom today, within reason. Sort of a pre-birthday treat." Nurse Debbie's expression suggested she knew exactly how this would go, but she nodded. "Within reason. Understood. What counts as within reason?" "Approved areas only. No engineering work. No theft. Supervised at all times." "Can me go to observation deck?" Baby Bookworm asked hopefully. The observation deck had the best view of the landing pads, and he loved watching the ships come and go. "With Debbie, yes. And mess hall? For actual meals, not sandwich theft." "And library?" Jackie and Nurse Debbie exchanged a look. "The library should be fine," Jackie said slowly, "as long as you're not reading classified materials." "How me know what classified?" "If it has a red cover or a security seal, you can't read it." "What about orange cover?" "Also no." "Yellow." "What is this, a color-based interrogation?" Jackie laughed. "Just stick to the regular books, okay? The ones in the children's section." Baby Bookworm made a face. "Children's books boring? Already read all." "Then read them again, or find age-appropriate books in the young adult section." "But, no buts. Those are the rules for today." Jackie stood up and finished her coffee. "I need to get ready for work. Debbie, he's all yours. Try to bring him back in one piece." "I always do," Nurse Debbie said, although the piece is sometimes covered in mysterious substances. "Me not mysterious. Me very clean, baby. You had motor oil on your hands last week." "That was accident. You were in a restricted maintenance area. Was shortcut." Kylie snorted into her orange juice. Jackie just shook her head and went to get ready, leaving Baby Bookworm with Nurse Debbie and his sister. "All right," Nurse Debbie said, pulling out her data pad and stylus. "Let's plan your day. And by plan your day, I mean I'm going to establish very clear boundaries about what is and isn't allowed." Baby Bookworm sighed. Even grace periods came with restrictions. But tomorrow he'd be 2, and 2-year-olds, he was convinced, had to get at least a little more freedom than 1-year-olds. It was only logical. Chapter 6. The Observation Deck. The observation deck was Baby Bookworm's second favorite place on the entire base, right after the engineering bays that he was no longer allowed to visit unsupervised. It was a massive transparent dome on the eastern side of the compound, offering an unobstructed view of the landing pads, the surrounding desert landscape, and, on clear days, the distant mountains. Today was very clear. Baby Bookworm pressed his face against the reinforced glass, watching as a transport shuttle descended toward landing pad 3. The retro thrusters fired in perfect sequence, and he mentally calculated the fuel consumption rate versus the ship's mass. Inefficient, but acceptable given the need for controlled descent. "Stop licking the glass," Nurse Debbie said without looking up from her data pad. Baby Bookworm stopped licking the glass. "How you know me licking? Because you always lick the glass. Every single time we come here. Glass tastes interesting. Glass tastes like glass, and other people's face germs." Baby Bookworm considered this and decided he didn't care. The glass was cool and smooth, and the slight electrical charge from the thermal regulation system created a pleasant tingling sensation on his tongue. Also, it annoyed Nurse Debbie, which was its own reward. There were a few other people on the observation deck. A young couple near the north windows, an elderly man sketching the landscape, and 3 junior officers discussing something in hushed tones near the central holotable. None of them paid any attention to Baby Bookworm for now. "Debbie," he said, pulling back from the window. "Yes? Can we go look at holotable?" Nurse Debbie glanced up, assessed the situation, and nodded. "Stay where I can see you. Don't touch anything you're not supposed to touch." "What about things me supposed to touch?" "You're not supposed to touch anything on the holotable. It's for official use only." "But me just want looking only, no touching." Baby Bookworm toddled over to the holotable, which was currently displaying a 3-dimensional map of the base and surrounding area. The junior officers, 2 women and 1 man, all wearing engineering division insignia, were marking various locations with glowing indicators. "If we reroute the coolant feed through Section 7, one of the women was saying, we could improve efficiency by maybe 8–9%. "That's assuming the existing infrastructure can handle the increased flow rate," the man countered. "These systems weren't designed for that kind of modification. Bay 2's system handles it fine." All 3 officers went quiet. Then the second woman said carefully, "Bay 2 is a special case." "You mean the Goblin case? We're not supposed to call it that. Chief Hinson was very clear." "Chief Hinson's kid is the Goblin. Everyone knows that." Baby Bookworm, who had been listening with interest, decided this was his cue to announce his presence. "Me not Goblin, Goblin, not real." The 3 officers jumped and turned to stare at him. One of them, the man, actually put his hand on his sidearm before realizing he was facing a toddler. "Where did you come from?" the first woman demanded. "Over there." Baby Bookworm pointed at Nurse Debbie, who had noticed the commotion and was making her way over. "With Darkness Debbie." "With who?" "He means me," Nurse Debbie said, arriving and placing a hand on Baby Bookworm's shoulder. "And he's not supposed to be bothering personnel. I apologize." "Wait," the second woman crouched down to Baby Bookworm's eye level. "Are you Chief Hinson's son?" "Yes, me Baby Bookworm." That's not your actual name, is it?" "Is name me like, real name boring." The 3 officers exchanged glances that Baby Bookworm had learned to recognize. It was the look adults gave each other when they were trying to decide if he was cute or concerning. "You're the one who modified the Bay 2 coolant system," the first woman said. "It wasn't a question. Me make it better," Baby Bookworm confirmed. 15% more efficient. Could do more but run out of time before." He stopped himself, remembering Mama's lectures about admitting to unauthorized activities. "Before what?" "Before, nothing. Me just baby, know nothing about engineering." The man snorted. "Right, a baby who knows nothing about engineering but can improve a military-grade coolant system. Is coincidence, very smart coincidence." Nurse Debbie's grip on his shoulder tightened. "That's enough, we should go." "Wait," the second woman said. She was looking at the holotable, then at Baby Bookworm, then back at the holotable. "You heard our discussion about the Section 7 reroute? Maybe a little bit. What do you think? Would it work?" "Ensign Rodriguez," the man said sharply, "you can't seriously be asking a toddler for engineering advice." "Why not? He improved Bay 2. Maybe he has insights we're missing." Baby Bookworm felt Nurse Debbie's hand tighten even further on his shoulder, the universal signal for "do not engage," but the question was too tempting to resist. "Infrastructure can handle flow rate," he said quickly, before Nurse Debbie could stop him. "But you thinking about it wrong. Problem not capacity, problem is thermal dispersion. If you reroute through Section 7, create hotspot near junction with Section 5. Need secondary cooling or system fail in 6 weeks, maybe 7. The 3 officers stared at him. "How do you?" Rodriguez started. "Read maintenance manual. Also observe thermal patterns during last 3 weeks. Section 5 already running hot because of increased operational tempo. Add more thermal load from reroute," and Baby Bookworm made an explosion gesture with his hands. "Boom. Not actual boom. Metaphorical boom. System shutdown." "He's right," the first woman said slowly, pulling up additional data on the holotable. "Look at these readings. Section 5 is running 0.7 degrees above optimal. We didn't factor that in." "Because we're not supposed to factor in analysis from a 2-year-old, the man said. But he was looking at the data too, his expression shifting from skeptical to thoughtful. "Almost 2, Baby Bookworm corrected. "Tomorrow birthday. Then me officially 2, and maybe you take me seriously." Rodriguez laughed. "Okay, almost 2. What would you do instead, if you were designing this reroute?" "Me would," Baby Bookworm began enthusiastically. "He would go back to his observation window and let the actual engineers do their jobs," Nurse Debbie interrupted firmly. "I'm sorry, but he's not supposed to be providing unauthorized engineering consultation. Chief Hinson's orders." "Of course, we understand." Rodriguez stood up and gave Baby Bookworm a small salute. "But for what it's worth, kid, that was good analysis. Maybe when you're older, you can join our division officially." "Really?" "If you learn to follow the proper channels and stop being a goblin." She grinned. "But yeah, really, we could use someone with your instincts." Baby Bookworm felt something warm and proud bloom in his chest. An actual engineer had said he was good at engineering, that he could maybe join their division someday. This was the best pre-birthday present ever. "Come on," Nurse Debbie said, steering him away from the holotable. "Let's go look at the ships like you wanted." They returned to the observation window. Baby Bookworm resumed his position pressed against the glass, but his mind wasn't on the ships anymore. It was on Rodriguez's words, "When you're older, and officially, and proper channels." Maybe Kylie was right. Maybe working within the system instead of around it was the way to actually get what he wanted. It would require patience, which was not his strong suit, but patience was a skill, and skills could be learned. He was almost 2, after all, practically an adult. "Debbie," he said after a few minutes of contemplative glass licking. "Yes? Me want to do things right way, proper way." "That's good to hear. But what is proper way? How me know what allowed?" Nurse Debbie set down her datapad and joined him at the window. "You ask. Before doing something, you ask someone in authority if it's allowed. If they say yes, you do it. If they say no, you don't do it. That's the proper way." "But what if they say no to good idea? Like Bay 2? That good idea, but if me ask first, they say no because me just baby. Then you wait until you're older and you have the credentials to make them listen. Or you present your idea through your mother who has the authority to implement it. That take forever. Sometimes the right way takes longer than the fast way. That doesn't make it less right." Baby Bookworm sighed and pressed his forehead against the glass. Being good was complicated. Being patient was hard. Being almost 2 in a world designed for older people was frustrating. But maybe, just maybe, it would be worth it. A new ship appeared on the horizon, approaching fast. Baby Bookworm recognized the configuration, a diplomatic transport from Microtech. The capital. His heart rate increased slightly. "Debbie, what kind of ship is that?" Nurse Debbie looked up and checked the landing schedule on her datapad. "Diplomatic transport from Microtech. Scheduled arrival 10:47, right on time." "Who on ship?" "It doesn't say. Probably diplomats or military brass." She glanced at him. "Why do you ask?" "Just curious." But Baby Bookworm wasn't just curious. He was hopeful. Because tomorrow was his birthday, and the transport was from Microtech, and maybe, just maybe, Daddy had found time to come home after all. The ship descended toward landing pad 1, the VIP pad. Baby Bookworm watched with intense focus as it touched down, as the boarding ramp extended, as figures began to emerge. He counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4. All wearing military uniforms, all adults, all strangers. No daddy. Baby Bookworm felt the hope deflate in his chest like a punctured balloon. Come on, Nurse Debbie said gently, as if she knew exactly what he'd been thinking. Let's go to the library, take your mind off things. Okay, he followed her toward the exit, taking one last look at the landing pad where the transport from Microtech was now powered down, empty of the one person he'd hoped to see. Tomorrow he'd be 2. But apparently he'd be 2 without his father. Just like he'd been 1 without his father. And 0 without his father. Some things, Baby Bookworm was learning, didn't change just because you got older, even when you really, really wanted them to. Chapter 7. The Library Incident. The base library was a 3-story building that smelled like old paper and new possibilities. Baby Bookworm loved it with the kind of fierce devotion usually reserved for family members or particularly good sandwiches. The children's section was on the first floor, full of bright colors and simple books with pictures. Baby Bookworm had read every single one by the time he was 14 months old. Now he mostly ignored it. The young adult and fiction sections were on the second floor. Better, but still not quite right for someone with his reading level and interests. The technical reference section was on the third floor. That's where Baby Bookworm wanted to go. That's where Nurse Debbie would absolutely not let him go. First floor, she said firmly, steering him toward the children's section. We've discussed this, but me already read all these books. Then read them again. Repetition is good for retention. Me not need retention. Me remember everything. First floor, Nurse Debbie repeated, her tone leaving no room for negotiation. Baby Bookworm slumped in defeat and trudged toward the colorful beanbags scattered among the low bookshelves. A few other children were there, a girl around 5 reading a picture book about dinosaurs, twin boys building something with the magnetic blocks near the craft table, and a baby who was actually a baby, drooling on a board book while his mother scrolled through her datapad. Real babies were boring. Baby Bookworm selected a random book from the shelf, something about a caterpillar who ate too much, and sat down on a purple beanbag. He opened to the first page and stared at it without really seeing it. He was thinking about the transport from Microtech, about Daddy not being on it, about turning 2 tomorrow without, "Excuse me, are you the goblin?" Baby Bookworm looked up to find the 5-year-old girl standing in front of him, her dinosaur book clutched to her chest. She had dark hair in 2 puffs on either side of her head and was missing her front tooth. "Me not goblin," Baby Bookworm said automatically. "Goblin not real. But everyone says there's a goblin on the base. My big brother said he saw it running through the mess hall last week. He said it was small and fast and had big eyes." She leaned forward and studied him closely. "You have really big eyes. Lots of people have big eyes, not that big, and you're small, and you look fast." Baby Bookworm closed his book. "If me was goblin, which me not, why you not scared?" The girl shrugged. "I like goblins. They're cool. In my book at home, there's a goblin who helps people by fixing things and finding lost stuff. Is that what you do?" "Me, sometimes fix things, when they broken. See, you are the goblin." She said it with triumph, like she'd solved a great mystery. Then she sat down on the beanbag next to him. "My name's Zara. What's yours?" "Baby Bookworm." "That's a weird name. Is good name. Me pick it myself. You picked your own name. Real name boring, so me make better name." Zara considered this. "That's actually pretty smart. I wish I could pick my own name. I'd be Princess Starfire." "That also good name." They sat in companionable silence for a moment. Then Zara said, "It's okay if you're the goblin. I won't tell anyone. I'm good at keeping secrets." "Me not." Baby Bookworm stopped himself. What was the point of denying it? She clearly believed he was the goblin, and honestly, it was kind of nice to have someone think being the goblin was cool instead of concerning. Okay, maybe me was goblin, little bit, but me trying to not be goblin anymore. Why? Being a goblin sounds fun. Is fun, but also get in trouble and make Mama stressed and Admiral mad. Oh, Zara pulled her knees up to her chest. "That's not good. My mom says making people stressed is not nice, even if you don't mean to." "Exactly. Me not mean to. Me just trying to help. That's what the goblin in my book says too. He just wants to help, but people get scared because they don't understand him." Baby Bookworm felt a sudden kinship with this fictional goblin. What happened to Goblin in book? Do people understand eventually? Yeah. He saves the village from a flood and then everyone realizes he's actually really nice and smart. Then they make him the official village helper. Official? Like he's allowed to help, it's his job. Baby Bookworm's eyes widened. This was exactly what he wanted. To be allowed to help, officially, without everyone thinking he was causing chaos. Me want be official helper. Then you should save something, Zara said matter-of-factly. That's what worked in the book. Save what? I don't know. Whatever needs saving. You're smart, you'll figure it out. Before Baby Bookworm could respond, Nurse Debbie appeared at the end of the aisle. Baby Bookworm, are you bothering this young lady? He's not bothering me, Zara said quickly. We're talking about goblins. Nurse Debbie's expression suggested this was exactly what she'd been afraid of. I see. Well, why don't we let Zara get back to her reading? But we just friends now, Baby Bookworm protested. You can be friends from a respectful distance. Zara giggled. Is she always like this? Always, Baby Bookworm confirmed solemnly, is why me call her Darkness Debbie. That's an awesome name too. Nurse Debbie pinched the bridge of her nose. I'm not engaging with this. Zara, it was nice meeting you. Baby Bookworm, come with me. We're going to the reference desk to find you something age-appropriate. But me already. Now. Baby Bookworm sighed and stood up, giving Zara a small wave. She waved back enthusiastically. Bye, Goblin. Don't forget to save something. Me not Goblin, Baby Bookworm called back as Nurse Debbie steered him away. But he was smiling. At the reference desk, Mrs. Chen, the head librarian who'd been working there since before Baby Bookworm was born, looked up from her cataloging and immediately spotted him. Well, Baby Bookworm, I heard you got yourself into some trouble. News travel fast? Baby Bookworm observed. News travels instantly when the entire base is gossiping about a supposed goblin. Mrs. Chen adjusted her glasses and studied him. You know, when I was a little girl, my grandmother told me stories about helpful spirits who would sneak around fixing things while people slept. She called them house brownies. Me not house brownie. Also not goblin. Of course not. You're a very bright, almost 2-year-old who's frustrated by the limitations placed on very bright, almost 2-year-olds. Mrs. Chen pulled a book from under her desk. I've been saving this for you. Thought you might enjoy it. Baby Bookworm looked at the book. It was clearly old, the cover worn but well-maintained. The title read Engineering, Ethics, and Professional Responsibility. His eyes went wide. This for me? It's a loan, not a gift. I expect it back in 2 weeks, undamaged. Mrs. Chen leaned forward. Here's the thing about being smart, young one. Intelligence without ethics is dangerous. You have the ability to change systems and solve problems that most people twice your age couldn't handle. But ability doesn't equal permission. Understanding that difference? That's what separates engineers from disasters. Baby Bookworm carefully took the book, handling it like the precious thing it was. This about following rules? It's about understanding why rules exist and knowing when they should be followed versus when they should be challenged through proper channels. Big difference. You think me should follow proper channels? I think you should learn what proper channels are first, then decide. Mrs. Chen returned to her cataloging. Happy early birthday, by the way. 2 is a good age. Old enough to start understanding nuance. What nuance? Look it up, it's in the book. Baby Bookworm clutched the book to his chest and felt something shift in his understanding of the world. People kept telling him to follow rules, to work within systems, to be patient. But Mrs. Chen was the first person to suggest that maybe, eventually, there might be times when the rules needed challenging. She just said he needed to understand them first. That seemed reasonable. Thank you, Mrs. Chen. You're welcome. Now scoot and try not to enhance any library systems while you're here. How you know me was thinking about that? Because you're you. Scoot. Baby Bookworm scooted, returning to Nurse Debbie with his new book. She took one look at the title and sighed. Mrs. Chen gave you that? She say is educational. It's a graduate-level ethics textbook. Is perfect then. Me need learn about ethics. Nurse Debbie looked like she wanted to argue but couldn't quite find the grounds to do so. How could she object to him reading about ethics? That was literally what everyone wanted him to learn. Fine, but we're reading it together so I can provide context. Okay. They found a quiet corner with 2 chairs, and Nurse Debbie began reading aloud, stopping frequently to explain concepts that were designed for adult professionals, but that baby bookworm absorbed like a sponge. He learned about duty of care, about professional responsibility, about the importance of proper authorization and documented decision-making, about whistleblowing and when unauthorized action might actually be ethical. That last part was particularly interesting. So, baby bookworm said slowly, if someone see problem that cause danger, they supposed to report it through proper channels first. But if proper channels not working, then maybe okay to fix problem direct. In extreme circumstances involving immediate danger, yes. But that's not a blank check to do whatever you want. Nurse Debbie marked their place in the book. The key word is extreme and immediate danger, neither of which apply to making coolant systems more efficient. But what if coolant system fail? That danger. The coolant system was working fine. You made it work better, which is nice, but there was no imminent danger. How me know what count as imminent? If you have time to ask permission, it's not imminent. Baby bookworm thought about that. It seemed like a good rule, actually, simple and clear. If he had time to ask Mama or an engineer if something should be fixed, then he should ask. If something was actively on fire or exploding, then maybe direct intervention was acceptable. Me understand, he said finally. You do? Yes. If have time to ask, should ask. If not have time, then use judgment but accept consequences after. That's actually a pretty good summary. Nurse Debbie looked genuinely pleased. See? This is why reading ethics books is useful. Can me borrow book? Read more at home? Mrs. Chen said you have 2 weeks, but yes, you can take it home. Baby bookworm hugged the book again. This was turning out to be a better day than expected. He'd made a new friend who thought goblins were cool, gotten an actual engineering ethics textbook, and learned that rules were more nuanced than he'd thought. Tomorrow he'd be 2. And maybe, just maybe, being 2 with better understanding of proper channels would be more effective than being 1 and running around being a goblin. It was worth trying, anyway. Chapter 8, The Heat Wave Begins. Baby bookworm woke up on his birthday to 2 realizations. First, he was now officially 2 years old. Second, it was unreasonably hot. He lay in bed for a moment, taking inventory of his situation. His diaper was uncomfortably warm and damp. His pajamas were sticking to him. The air in his room felt thick and oppressive, like breathing soup. Something was wrong with the climate control. Baby bookworm sat up and immediately began analyzing the problem. The base's environmental systems were designed to maintain comfortable temperatures regardless of external conditions. The fact that his room felt like the inside of an oven meant either A. The external temperature had exceeded system capacity, unlikely but possible. B. There was a malfunction in the residential climate control, more likely. C. Someone had adjusted settings without proper calibration, most likely, knowing this base. He climbed out of bed and toddled to his door, opening it to investigate the hallway. The temperature was even worse out there. He estimated around 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which was totally unacceptable for indoor spaces. "Mama!" he yelled. Jackie emerged from her bedroom looking exhausted and sweaty. Her hair was plastered to her forehead, and she was wearing shorts and a tank top instead of her usual uniform. "Happy birthday, baby," she said, scooping him up despite the heat. "I know it's not ideal conditions for celebrating." "Why so hot? External temperature hit 118 degrees overnight. We're experiencing a record heat wave, and apparently someone," her tone suggested she knew exactly who, reconfigured the Bay 2 coolant system in a way that's now affecting residential cooling capacity. Baby bookworm's ears drooped. That me fault? Indirectly. The enhanced efficiency in Bay 2 is pulling extra power from the grid, which means less power available for residential climate control. Engineering is working on rebalancing the load, but it'll take a few hours. Me can help. Absolutely not. You are banned from all engineering activities, remember? And today is your birthday. You're going to have fun and celebrate, not fix infrastructure problems. But me caused problem. Should fix. The actual engineers will fix it. You are going to eat birthday pancakes and open presents and have the best day ever, even if we're all sweating while we do it. Jackie set him down and headed toward the kitchen. "Go wake up Kylie. Tell her breakfast in 10 minutes. Baby Bookworm wanted to argue, but he recognized his mother's final answer tone. Instead, he went to Kylie's room and pushed open her door. "Kylie, Mama say breakfast in 10? Kylie, your window open." Kylie was sprawled on top of her covers, her window wide open to catch whatever breeze existed outside. "It's too hot," she mumbled without opening her eyes. Had to open it. But window's supposed to stay closed. Climate control work better with sealed environment. Climate control isn't working at all, buddy, so sealed environment doesn't matter. She finally opened her eyes and grinned at him. "Happy birthday, though. You're officially 2 now. Feel any different?" Baby Bookworm considered. "Feel hot and guilty. Me broke climate control." "You enhanced a coolant system. That's different than breaking climate control. The breaking part is whoever didn't account for the power draw when they approved the grid configuration. But me not get approval. Me just do it." "True, but you're 2 now, so you get a pass on past mistakes. From this point forward, though, you need to be a model citizen." Kylie sat up and stretched. "Now, come on. Mama said pancakes, and I'm not missing birthday pancakes even if we have to eat them in a sauna." The kitchen was marginally cooler thanks to Nurse Debbie, who had arrived early and set up 3 portable fans she'd apparently brought from home. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," she said, giving Baby Bookworm a rare hug. 2 years old, you're practically ancient." "Me feel ancient. Also hot. Everyone's hot, the whole base is melting, but we're going to make this the best birthday anyway." She pointed at the table, where a stack of pancakes waited along with 2 wrapped presents. "Presents first or food first?" "Presents!" Baby Bookworm scrambled toward the table. The first present was from Kylie, a custom-made tablet loaded with age-appropriate educational programs. But when he turned it on, he discovered she'd also included advanced engineering simulation software. "You can practice designing systems without actually building them," Kylie explained. "All the fun of engineering, none of the unauthorized modifications. This best present ever." "Wait until you see mine," Jackie said, sliding the second package toward him. Baby Bookworm tore off the wrapping to reveal a junior engineer's toolkit. Real tools, scaled down for small hands, with his name engraved on the carrying case. But there was a catch. "These are for supervised projects only," Jackie said firmly. "You want to build something? You bring me your design first. I approve it. Then you can use the tools. Clear?" "Clear, Mama." Baby Bookworm hugged the toolkit to his chest. "Me promised to ask first." "Good, because Admiral Kensington will be watching, and one more unauthorized project means these tools get confiscated." The mention of the Admiral dampened Baby Bookworm's excitement slightly, but not enough to ruin the moment. He had real tools and a simulation program. And it was his birthday, even if it was approximately 1,000,000 degrees. They ate pancakes while the fans oscillated ineffectively, and Baby Bookworm was just finishing his 3rd helping when there was a knock at the door. Jackie answered it to reveal a delivery person holding an elaborate package wrapped in silver paper. "Delivery for Baby Bookworm, Hinson?" "That's unexpected," Jackie said, accepting the package. She checked the label. "It's from Microtech." Baby Bookworm's heart jumped. "From Daddy?" "Looks like it." Jackie brought the package to the table. Baby Bookworm opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a model spacecraft, an incredibly detailed, accurate model of a military transport ship, along with a handwritten note. "Happy 2nd birthday. Wish I could be there. Very proud of you. Try to follow some rules." Dad Baby Bookworm stared at the note. It was something. It wasn't Daddy actually being here, but it was something. "That's a really nice model," Kylie said gently. "Want to put it together? Later, maybe." Baby Bookworm set the model aside carefully. He wasn't sure how he felt about it. Happy that Daddy remembered? Sad that a present was all he got? Confused about the follow some rules comment? All of the above, probably. "More pancakes?" Jackie offered, clearly trying to redirect the moment. "Yes, please." But before Jackie could serve them, her comm device buzzed. She glanced at it and groaned. "You have got to be kidding me." "What wrong?" External temperature just hit 122 degrees. The mess hall's auxiliary cooling system just failed. And, she scrolled through more messages, 3 more residential units are reporting climate control issues. "Me can help," Baby Bookworm said immediately. "No, but Mama. Today is your birthday. You are not spending it fixing air conditioning." Jackie looked at Nurse Debbie. "Can you keep him occupied? I need to go deal with this." On my birthday? Baby Bookworm's voice came out smaller than he intended. Jackie's expression softened. I'm sorry, baby. I know it's not fair, but people are overheating and I'm the chief engineer. I have to. Is okay, Mama. Me understand. And he did understand intellectually. But emotionally, it stung that even on his birthday, work came first. Jackie kissed his forehead. I'll be back as soon as I can. We'll do cake this evening, I promise. Debbie, maybe take him somewhere cool? The recreation center? Nurse Debbie suggested. If it still has working AC, otherwise, improvise. Jackie grabbed her datapad and rushed out. Baby Bookworm sat at the table, surrounded by presents and half-eaten pancakes, feeling decidedly unbirthday-like. Hey, Kylie said, nudging him. Want to go somewhere fun? Where? It's a surprise, but trust me, it'll be cool, literally. Baby Bookworm looked at Nurse Debbie, who considered for a moment before nodding, as long as it's within approved areas and you stay together. Scout's honor, Kylie said. You're not a scout. Engineer's honor? Better. Go. I'll clean up here and meet you in an hour. Kylie grabbed Baby Bookworm's hand. Come on, birthday boy. Let's go find the coldest place on this base. Baby Bookworm followed, curious despite his disappointment. As they left the apartment and stepped into the oppressive heat of the corridor, he asked, Where are we going? You'll see. But first, Kylie stopped and turned to him seriously. I need you to promise not to fix anything while we're there. Why me fix things? Because you always fix things. It's like your default setting. But today, just for today, you're going to experience something without optimizing it. Deal? Baby Bookworm thought about his ethics book, about asking permission, about proper channels. Deal, he agreed. Good. Now let's go before we both melt. They headed down the corridor together, a 2-year-old genius and his 12-year-old sister, searching for relief from a heat wave that was about to make Baby Bookworm's birthday far more memorable than anyone anticipated. Chapter 9: The Ice Dispenser Solution. Kylie led Baby Bookworm through 3 corridors, 2 service hallways, and 1 technically restricted maintenance passage before they arrived at their destination, the East Wing Educational Facility where Kylie went to school. School? Baby Bookworm said, disappointed. This not fun. This boring. The school part is boring, Kylie agreed, but the teacher's lounge has the best ice maker on the entire base. Industrial grade, always working, and, she checked her student access card, I can technically get us in because I'm a student aide. Baby Bookworm's ears perked up. Ice? So much ice. Come on. They entered through the student entrance. The school was empty. Summer break meant no classes. But the building's climate control was still running. It was cooler inside, maybe 78 degrees instead of the 85 plus everywhere else. Better, but not good enough. Baby Bookworm's diaper situation was becoming critical. The heat and dampness were creating an intolerable combination. He tugged on Kylie's hand. Kylie, diaper uncomfortable. Can you hold on until we get to the lounge? Debbie will kill me if I let you take it off. But is emergency. Heat make it squishy. Very squishy. Kylie sighed. Fine, bathroom first, ice second. They detoured to the nearest bathroom, where Kylie helped him change into a fresh diaper from the emergency supply in her backpack. Baby Bookworm immediately felt better, though he eyed the discarded diaper with suspicion. Why human babies wear these all time is uncomfortable, because human babies can't control their bodily functions yet. Me can control. Can you, though? Really? Baby Bookworm considered this honestly. Mostly, but when me focused on important things, sometimes forget. Exactly, hence, diapers. Now come on! They continued to the teacher's lounge, which was blissfully empty and even cooler than the hallways. And there, humming quietly in the corner, was the industrial ice maker. Baby Bookworm's eyes widened. It was beautiful. Stainless steel, probably capable of producing 200 pounds of ice per day with a filtration system and... Stop analyzing it and just enjoy the cold, Kylie said, opening the dispenser. She filled 2 cups with ice and handed him one. Here, suck on this. It'll cool you down. Baby Bookworm took the ice gratefully and popped a piece in his mouth. The cold was instant and glorious. His body temperature, which had been steadily climbing all morning, began to stabilize. He needed more. Without really thinking about it, Baby Bookworm opened the ice dispenser's front panel. What are you doing? Kylie asked. Just looking. You promised not to fix anything. Me not fixing, just looking. But even as he said it, Baby Bookworm was examining the interior mechanics. The ice maker was working, but inefficiently. The compressor was cycling too frequently, and the temperature regulation was set too conservatively. If he just adjusted, Baby Bookworm, no. But Kylie, me so hot. If me make more ice, everyone can cool down. You're not supposed to. But Baby Bookworm's alien biology was overriding his recently learned lessons about proper channels. He was hot. His species didn't handle heat well. Something about their homeworld being cooler and their bodies not having efficient cooling mechanisms. The heat was making him uncomfortable in a way that humans couldn't quite understand. And there was a solution right in front of him. He reached into the ice maker. Don't you dare. Too late. Baby Bookworm's small dexterous fingers found the thermostat control and adjusted it. Then he modified the compressor cycle timing. The changes took approximately 15 seconds. The ice maker's hum changed pitch, becoming more efficient. You promised. Kylie grabbed him and pulled him away from the machine. What happened to learning lessons? What happened to asking permission? Baby Bookworm's ears drooped, but not because he felt guilty, because he was frustrated that Kylie didn't understand. Me too hot, Kylie. Not human hot, alien hot, different. What do you mean, different? Me species need cooler temperature. Heat make me feel wrong, like everything inside too tight. He struggled to find the words, like if me not cool down, something bad happen. Kylie's expression shifted from angry to concerned. Are you saying you could get heat stroke or something? Not no human word. But yes, need cold. That why me always in cool places. That why me like engineering bays. They have good cooling. Why didn't you tell Mom this? Try, but everyone say just baby being dramatic, but me not being dramatic. Me need cold. Kylie was quiet for a moment, processing this. Then she said, okay, I get it, but you still can't just modify equipment without permission. But emergency. Then you tell an adult it's an emergency. You don't just... Kylie trailed off as she noticed something. Oh no. What? The ice maker, look. Baby Bookworm turned to look. The ice maker was working perfectly, producing ice at triple the normal rate, filling the bin rapidly. Too rapidly. Uh-oh, Baby Bookworm said. Yeah, we need to go. Now. But before they could leave, the teacher's lounge door opened, and Mrs. Patterson, Kylie's math teacher, walked in with another teacher Baby Bookworm didn't recognize. Can't believe this heat, Mrs. Patterson was saying. I came in just to grab some paperwork and... She stopped, noticing Kylie and Baby Bookworm. Kylie, what are you doing here? School's not in session. I'm a student aide, remember? I have building access. We just came to cool down. With your... Patterson looked at Baby Bookworm. Brother? Yes, this is Baby Bookworm. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Mrs. Patterson said automatically. Then her attention shifted to the ice maker, which was now producing ice at an audible rate. Is the ice maker working better than normal? Is it? Kylie said with impressive false innocence. I hadn't noticed. The other teacher walked over to inspect it. It's definitely producing more ice, and the temperature feels colder than another. Did maintenance do something? Baby Bookworm decided honesty might be tactical here. Me fix it. Both teachers turned to stare at him. You fixed it? Mrs. Patterson said slowly. Was running inefficient, now better. Make more ice for hot day. You're the chief's son, the other teacher said, recognition dawning. You're the one who... He's the goblin, Mrs. Patterson finished. I've heard about you. Me not goblin, Baby Bookworm said reflexively, even though at this point he was pretty sure he was the goblin. Jenny, don't call him that. He's just a child. Mrs. Patterson crouched down to his level. Sweetheart, did you really fix our ice maker? Yes. Was easy. Just adjust thermostat and compressor timing. Now make 3 times more ice. 3 times? Mrs. Patterson exchanged a glance with the other teacher. That's actually really helpful. It's so hot today, and we were running out of ice. See? Baby Bookworm looked at Kylie triumphantly. Me help! You helped without permission, Kylie hissed. But they happy! Mrs. Patterson stood up. I should probably report this to someone. You're not supposed to be modifying school equipment. Baby Bookworm's ears drooped. But his birthday and me too hot, and ice maker help everyone. I know, honey, but there are rules. Rules stupid when people suffering from heat. He has a point, the other teacher said. And honestly, if this ice maker keeps working like this, we should probably just not report it. I mean, Why create problems when the solution is actually helping? Mrs. Patterson hesitated. Sarah, we can't just ignore unauthorized equipment modifications. Why not? The kid improved it. No one's getting hurt, and on a day when half the base is melting, maybe we just appreciate the help? Baby Bookworm watched this debate with interest. Adults were complicated. They had rules, but sometimes they didn't want to follow them either, especially when breaking the rules made things better. This was important information. Please don't tell? Baby Bookworm used his biggest, most innocent eyes. Me just want help. Me not mean cause trouble. Mrs. Patterson looked at him for a long moment. Then she sighed. Fine, but this is a one-time exception because it's your birthday and because we desperately need ice. Don't make a habit of this. Me promise. Baby Bookworm lied cheerfully. Come on, Kylie said, grabbing his hand. We should go before you decide to optimize anything else. They hurried out of the teacher's lounge. Once they were safely in the hallway, Kylie turned on him. You can't keep doing this. But they were happy. They even say not to report. That doesn't make it okay. What happened to asking permission? What happened to proper channels? Baby Bookworm's stomach rumbled loudly, the kind of rumble that signaled his alien biology needed fuel, and soon. Me hungry. Don't change the subject. Not changing. Really hungry. Need food. You just ate 3 helpings of pancakes. That was hour ago. Me need more food than human babies. Is biology. Kylie stared at him. Are you saying your species needs to eat more frequently? Yes. That why me always steal sandwiches. Not just want them. Need them. Me belly get too empty too fast. Again, why haven't you told Mom this? Try tell, but everyone say you just ate and you can't possibly be hungry, but me am hungry again. All the time hungry. Kylie pulled out her comm device. I'm calling Debbie. This is important medical information. But before she could dial, the school's emergency announcement system crackled to life. Attention, due to extreme temperatures and multiple climate control failures, all non-essential personnel are advised to shelter in place in the coolest available location. Engineering teams are working to restore full cooling capacity. Estimated time to restoration, 4 hours. Baby Bookworm and Kylie looked at each other. 4 hours? Baby Bookworm said. Me not survive 4 hours in this heat without more ice. The ice maker, Kylie started, will help, but me need to stay near it. We can't stay at school for 4 hours. Baby Bookworm's mind raced. 4 hours was a long time. Too long to stay here. Too long to go back to the hot apartment. He needed somewhere cool. Somewhere with lots of ice. Somewhere he could wait out this heat wave without overheating. An idea formed. A brilliant, terrible, absolutely going to get him in trouble idea. Kylie, he said slowly, where biggest ice storage on base? The mess hall has industrial freezers, but Baby Bookworm no. Is perfect solution. You are not breaking into the mess hall freezers. Not breaking is emergency shelter, and probably their sandwiches in there. His stomach rumbled again more urgently. Me need food and cold. Is perfect. Nurse Debbie will kill us both. Only if she find out, Baby Bookworm said, and before Kylie could stop him, he took off running down the hallway toward the mess hall. Baby Bookworm, get back here! But Baby Bookworm was fast, much faster than a normal 2-year-old, and he knew these corridors better than anyone. He'd spent months being the goblin, after all. Time to put that knowledge to good use, even if it was his birthday, especially because it was his birthday. Chapter 10. Inside the ice, Baby Bookworm had a significant head start, but Kylie knew the school building better. She caught up with him at the junction between the educational wing and the main base corridors, grabbing the back of his shirt just as he was about to turn the corner. Not so fast, goblin. Me not. Okay, fine, me goblin. But me hot goblin who need cold. I get that, but breaking into the mess hall is... Kylie! Baby Bookworm! They both turned to see Nurse Debbie power-walking toward them with the intensity of an incoming missile strike. Her uniform was slightly wilted from the heat, and her expression suggested she'd heard about the ice maker incident. Me can explain, Baby Bookworm started. Explain later. Right now, we need to get somewhere cool before you overheat. Nurse Debbie reached them and immediately pressed her hand to Baby Bookworm's forehead. You're burning up. How long have you been feeling like this? Since wake up, maybe before. Dreams were hot. Nurse Debbie's expression shifted from stern to worried. Why didn't you say something? Me did say something. Everyone say it's just hot, deal with it. But me not just hot, me alien hot. Different. He's right, Kylie interjected. He says his species can't regulate heat like humans. Wait, he's not being dramatic, Debbie. I think he's actually in trouble. Nurse Debbie was already pulling out her medical scanner, the one she carried for emergencies. She ran it over baby Bookworm, and her frown deepened. Core temperature is elevated, not dangerously yet, but climbing. We need to get you cooled down properly. Mess hall has big freezers, baby Bookworm said hopefully. Absolutely not. You are not climbing into industrial freezers. But Nurse Debbie was thinking, her eyes scanning the corridor. The medical bay has a cold therapy room. It's designed for treating heat injuries. We'll go there. But medical bay on other side of base. Too far, too hot. Then we'll take the service corridors. They're slightly cooler. Nurse Debbie scooped him up despite his size. Kylie, stay with us. If he tries to escape, grab him. Got it. They moved quickly through the corridors, that Nurse Debbie taking turns that baby Bookworm recognized from his goblin days. The service corridors were cooler, about 5 degrees cooler, because they had better insulation and fewer people generating body heat. Baby Bookworm's stomach rumbled again, so loudly that both Kylie and Nurse Debbie heard it. When did you last eat? Nurse Debbie asked. Breakfast, 3 pancakes. That was 2 hours ago. You need more food than that. Me no, me been saying, but everyone think me just greedy, baby. You're not greedy, you have higher metabolic needs. Your mother should have told me this. Nurse Debbie adjusted her grip on him. When we get to medical, I'm getting you a full nutritional assessment. In the meantime, she stopped at a junction and seemed to make a decision. Change of plans. Mess hall first. Food, then cooling. Really? Baby Bookworm perked up. Really? But you stay with me. No running off. No stealing. We get you actual authorized food. Understand? Yes, Debbie. They changed direction, heading toward the mess hall. When they arrived, it was chaos. The auxiliary cooling had failed, making the main dining area uncomfortable, but the kitchen area was even worse. The industrial ovens and stoves had turned it into an inferno. Most of the mess hall staff had retreated to the prep areas, where they were setting up cold sandwiches and drinks instead of hot meals. Corporal Jenkins, the head cook, looked up as they entered. Nurse Debbie, we're operating on emergency protocols. No hot food until cooling is restored. Best we can do is sandwiches, and he noticed baby Bookworm. Is that the goblin? He is not a goblin, Nurse Debbie said firmly. He is Chief Hinson's son. It's his birthday, and he has a medical emergency that requires immediate caloric intake and cooling. Jenkins blinked. Medical emergency? His species has different metabolic requirements. He needs to eat more frequently than human children, and he can't regulate heat properly. So unless you want a 2-year-old experiencing heat stroke in your mess hall, I suggest you provide him with multiple sandwiches and access to ice. Now. Baby Bookworm was impressed. Darkness Debbie was scary, but when she was scary on your behalf, it was actually kind of great. Jenkins didn't argue. Right. Okay. How many sandwiches are we talking? At least 3 to start, Nurse Debbie said, and he'll need them every few hours throughout the day. 3 sandwiches? For a toddler? Baby Bookworm's ears drooped. Here it came, the disbelief, the assumption that he was just being greedy. But Nurse Debbie's expression went ice cold. Corporal, are you questioning my medical assessment? No, ma'am. 3 sandwiches coming right up. Jenkins scrambled toward the prep area. Make them substantial, Nurse Debbie called after him. Real protein, not just bread. Kylie was grinning. You're kind of scary when you want to be. I prefer effectively assertive. Nurse Debbie set baby Bookworm down on one of the tables. And from now on, we're establishing a proper feeding schedule. No more unauthorized sandwich theft because we're actually going to give you the food you need. Really? Baby Bookworm could hardly believe it. No more stealing? No more needing to steal. If you're getting fed properly, you won't be constantly hungry. Nurse Debbie pulled out her data pad. I'm putting in a request for a full xenobiological assessment. Your mother should have done this when you first arrived on base, but better late than never. Jenkins returned with a tray containing 3 substantial sandwiches, turkey, ham, and roast beef, plus a large cup of ice water. Baby Bookworm's eyes went wide. All for me? All for you, doctor's orders. Jenkins set the tray down and, hey kid, happy birthday! Thank you. Baby Bookworm grabbed the turkey sandwich and took a huge bite. It was glorious, real food, authorized food, food he didn't have to steal or feel guilty about. He demolished all 3 sandwiches in approximately 4 minutes. Better? Nurse Debbie asked. Much better, but still hot. Right. Ice situation. Nurse Debbie looked at Jenkins. Do you have access to the walk-in freezer? Yeah, but it's not really designed for. I need to put him in there for about 10 minutes to bring his core temperature down. Unless you have a better suggestion? Jenkins looked at Baby Bookworm, who was now licking sandwich crumbs off his fingers with the desperate efficiency of someone whose biology had been fighting hunger all day. Walk-in freezer it is. Follow me. They went through the kitchen, Baby Bookworm noting the layout for future reference. Not that he needed to steal anymore, but knowledge was knowledge, and Jenkins opened the massive freezer door. Cold air rushed out. Beautiful, perfect, glorious cold air. Baby Bookworm didn't wait for permission. He walked straight into the freezer and lay down on the floor between 2 pallets of frozen vegetables. Oh, thank everything, he sighed. This perfect. 10 minutes, Nurse Debbie called. Then we're going to medical for proper assessment. Okay, Debbie. The freezer door closed, leaving him in dim, cold peace. Baby Bookworm spread his arms and legs out, maximizing skin contact with the cold floor. His body temperature began dropping immediately, the uncomfortable tightness in his chest easing. This was exactly what he'd needed. He lay there for what felt like 30 seconds, but was probably closer to 3 minutes when he heard voices outside the freezer. Definitely the goblin. I heard he enhanced the Bay 2 coolant system. I heard he stole General Bradley's sandwich right off his plate. I heard he lives in the ventilation system. Baby Bookworm frowned. That last one wasn't even true. He used the ventilation system sometimes, but he didn't live in it. That would be uncomfortable. The voices moved away, but Baby Bookworm was now thinking about his reputation. The goblin thing had gotten out of hand. People were making up stories about him. Some true, some exaggerated, some completely fictional. He should probably care about that. But lying on the cold freezer floor, finally comfortable for the first time all day, he found he didn't care at all. Let them think he was a goblin. Goblins were interesting. Goblins got things done. Goblins didn't ask permission, they just fixed what needed fixing. And maybe that's exactly what the base needed. The freezer door opened. Nurse Debbie looked in. Time's up. How do you feel? Baby Bookworm sat up reluctantly. Feel good. Cold good. Want stay longer? Medical assessment first, then we can discuss regular cooling breaks. Nurse Debbie helped him up. But I'm serious about the food schedule. From now on, you get fed every 3 hours minimum. No more starving, no more stealing. What if me still wants steal? For fun. Then you'll be in trouble for fun instead of for survival. Doesn't seem worth it. Baby Bookworm considered this as they left the freezer. She had a point. Stealing because you had to wasn't fun. It was desperate. Stealing because you wanted to, well, that was just being a goblin. They were halfway to medical when the base announcement system crackled again. Attention! The ice dispenser in the Educational Facility Teachers' Lounge has experienced a catastrophic malfunction. The unit has frozen solid and is now producing ice at an unsustainable rate. Maintenance teams are responding. If anyone has information about this malfunction, please report to your supervisor immediately. Kylie and Baby Bookworm exchanged glances. Catastrophic malfunction? Baby Bookworm said innocently. You made it too efficient, Kylie hissed. It can't stop making ice. Oh, that not good. No, it's not good. Nurse Debbie's hand tightened on Baby Bookworm's shoulder. Please tell me you didn't touch that ice maker. Me can't tell you that. You specifically asked me to tell that. What did you do? Made it better. But maybe too better. Nurse Debbie closed her eyes and took a deep breath. It's your birthday. I'm not allowed to be this angry with you on your birthday. We're going to medical, getting you assessed, and then we're having a very serious conversation about the difference between better and appropriate. They not same thing? Apparently not when you're involved. They continued toward medical, leaving behind a mess hall full of gossiping personnel, a freezer full of frozen vegetables, and, somewhere in the educational wing, an ice maker that was probably going to become a minor legend on base. Baby Bookworm's second birthday was turning out to be memorable, even if memorable meant slightly catastrophic.